how many 5-star plus matches did he have? And now he's the guy who says on TV. Okada in Japan, how many years upon year? I mean, almost a decade of just rolling New Japan Pro Wrestling, right? He was IWGP. He was undefeated. He had the longest reign. I might be getting some of that. But Okada was basically the dude, beating everybody, becoming, what do they call it, the ace of New Japan, like Tanahashi was for a while. I think he became it again. At least that has some connotation for, okay, there's something to being the top guy. All right, Okada had all these great matches, had all this an immense push that I hadn't seen in New Japan in quite some time. He comes to AEW, the most over he is when he's pushing the button wrong and goes, so sorry, and the people pop. So if all that stuff he did in New Japan was so great, why are you turning it into a comedy act that he fans himself after just seeing Sasha Banks in the hallway? You're turning this guy into a joke. So where are all these 5, 6, 7-star matches? I'm not saying he can't do it, but yeah, and you're paying him multiple millions of dollars a year. So how does that translate into drawing money? And why does Tony Khan, who loves 5-star matches, New Japan, strong style, dream matches, why is this dude not having, now he might be hurt, I don't know, but why is this dude not wrestling if he's the 5-star match machine?
He's a very interesting subject to go from the guy who's known for, let me have a look, the highest rating 7 stars, 13 5-star or better matches, only trailing behind Will Ospreay in the Wrestling Observer. He's a very interesting subject because he's paid, I don't know, let's guess between $2-3 million a year to be brought over and be the Young Bucks lackey, essentially.
In TNA, they made him Kato. And I don't agree with that because I wrestled Okada, which everybody's angry that I beat him on TNA Explosion. So if you want to go watch and leave a negative comment, go ahead. It's something, and by the way, just a little history behind that. I was going to be charged with teaching Okada American-style wrestling. Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, the Bucks, other people thought I could really mix what he had in with that. That's one of the reasons why we had that match. But I had a few conversations, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met, one of the coolest guys for the short time I was around him. But yeah, why? Like, that was something where people were getting mad that TNA turned him into that. I think it was with Samoa Joe as Kato. But you essentially have him being Kato without the mask here in 8. Is that a good kind of one-on-one analogy? You've made him a lackey. You made him a sidekick. And the dude's good enough to stand on his own. Dude, it doesn't have a t-shirt that says bitch or something? Because he says...
Yeah, that's his new catchphrase, yeah.
He's... How many 5-star plus matches did he have? And now he's the guy who says bitch on TV?
Well, you know what I was saying before? I'm going to come back to Okada and you beating him on TNA Explosion. Don't you worry about that. We're going to mention that in a second. Say, as I was saying before, well, you need more personality, you need more story building up. But the thing is, Okada's a bizarre example of it because he's the guy who's known as the great match machine. And then you put him in a position to give AEW fans absolutely nothing of what they want. Then you give them a catchphrase guy who doesn't wrestle, and he's over to a point. But you sort of, in this way... Yeah, fine, he's got more personality than maybe he had in New Japan, or a different kind of personality and more goofy and everything. But you can't draw with it. At least in this guy's, at least in this point, because he's like, what? He's almost like 30th on like the tier of most important wrestlers in AEW and what, like the 3rd best paid?
And went through some of the roughest matches you'll ever go through that probably took years off his career. His matches are no joke. I mean, they're incredibly physical matches, strong style. If you don't know what strong style is, watch him and Omega. He and Shibata, my God. And that's another dude, real headbutts that almost killed him. What does that get you? And I like Shibata. I like his style. I liked him and Ishii when they had their kind of open weight matches. I'm a great, consumer of all types of wrestling. You can appreciate them, but when it comes to maximizing business, maximizing money, things that I didn't know when I was wrestling that I learned towards the tail end of my career. That's why we present it this way. What is a 5-star match? Because I think, for lack of a better term, it's such a false positive. You think 5-star matches equals more money for everybody when actually, in reality, AEW's telling everybody with Okada, those matches mean nothing. We're going to basically turn him into a WWE Ron Simmons damn segment. That's all it is.
You beat Okada. How good was he in 2010? Because this is was this his excursion? So he was, pretty much going from young boy to, his first international tour just to get some experience.
Well, you never know what someone's going to be. When he got the Rainmaker gimmick and he got the production behind him and he got the presentation, technically, fundamentally, in the ring, very, very good. Taller guy, too. With most Japanese talent not being, he could do an American style and get over in an American company, because even though at the time he was even a little thinner than he is now, he was tall. He was probably as tall as me, or maybe even a little bit taller. So, with that being said, he can overcome the stereotype of the Tiger Mask or other people that are smaller cruiserweights and stuff. He could wrestle a heavyweight style. I wish we had more matches. It sucked that I wasn't in TNA that much longer after that, but I really would have looked forward to doing something with Okada.